Hello and welcome to Soul Symbols. My name is Shelley. I'm a writer, an astrologer, and a card reader, and I'd like to welcome you to my channel. Today is day 29 of the 31 Days of Tarot, and what that is it is a video blog sprint that is hosted by a fellow YouTuber named Ethony. And what we do is every day throughout the month of January, card readers answer one question related to our craft. Today is yet another, we've had quite a few top 5 deck kind of questions throughout the month, and today is yet another one, but it is the last one of the video blog sprint. And today it is it's telling us to list your top 5 underrated decks. So it does say decks, it doesn't say tarot or oracle, so I'm kind of taking it free range. But I was really glad that this, we've done quite a few of the top 5 questions, but I was grateful to actually pull out a few decks that I do feel are very underrated. Now, I tried my best to go with decks. It was very hard to kind of make a decision, and I definitely tried to go with decks that are still available for sale. There is maybe 1 or 2 of these that might not be available anymore, but I do feel that they're very underrated, at least in my perspective. And I did get, I'm going to be showing you one tarot deck, and then the rest are kind of oracle, but they're all very, very special to me, and I'll go ahead and get started. Now, all of the bags that you see, with the exception of this one that I keep in its box, I made these 3 bags, and this one I purchased, but it's actually kind of funny. The first deck I wanted to show, I actually made this bag, and I kind of call it my bag of evolution, because it started out that it was supposed to be like a 2-toned bag, and then I made it way too big. And then you ever have one of those projects where you keep trying to fix it, and then you end up and it is just this kind of odd shaped thing. But I do absolutely love it. It's kind of perfect. It's very unique for my deck. But what it is that the first deck is a vintage deck called the Tarot of the Southwest Sacred Tribes. And all the names and the authors are in the description box below. This is a vintage deck. You could probably find it in different places online, maybe trade for it. But it's a traditional tarot deck. It has the traditional tarot meanings, but the artwork, it is just kind of like an art deck. The artwork just really is lovely. I think it has some beautiful images, like this is the King of Cups. And again, it's not a real, it is a tribute to Native American art, but it is definitely more of an art deck. It's not anything that's really, per the actual tradition or heritage, but I just really feel like the images really speak to me. And it's got simple imagery, but the way that it's laid out, it just seems like every single time I've read with it, and I've read it on several of my readings, my weekly energy readings, and my with my How to Tarot. And actually coming up this Tuesday, next Tuesday, I'm going to be doing the How to Tarot on the moon, and the moon from this deck is going to be one in the 3 that I use as my descriptor for that card. So, but it's an absolutely beautiful deck. It's I believe it came out in the 90s, so it is considered quite vintage at this point. But you could probably find it, maybe on eBay or someplace like that. And I just really, I love the images. It is very traditional, but it has unique images, and that's what I love about it. So I definitely, it is one of my prized possessions here. And, I just really, I love it. I feel like it's one of my favorite decks. But we've gone ahead, and so that's deck number 1 of my top 5 underrated decks. Now the second deck, I did also make this bag as well. It's kind of flannel, and it has owls all over it. So it's my owl bag. But this one is Animal Allies by Jessica Swift. And what I think is lovely is, and again, if you've seen a few of my other videos, I have way too many animal decks. I think I have about 3 or 4 of them, which is nuts. But this was one of the first animal decks that I had purchased, and I just really love the images. I love the painting of it, and it has just kind of basic, it has keywords. It doesn't really have, it's one of the turkeys I used at Thanksgiving. I had 2 turkeys and a grouse. And but between all of my decks, I think I have just about every single animal there is. I think this is my only skunk. Definitely, I really love her depiction of the bear. And the images are just really lovely. I think she has one of the most beautiful butterflies I've ever seen. And it's just neat. She has a dragonfly, which is it's a special insect to me for a lot of reasons. But she has beautiful images, like she has buffalo, and it's such a nice kind of variation. She has a possum. She has a possum. And what I thought was great, she has things like salmon. So she does have a nice mixture of animals, and they're just, again, the imagery is just really lovely. It's like one of the few decks that I've seen moth. You know, when you're adding to a reading with things like, you know, moth to a flame and kangaroo, and she's got a shark. I think I have 3 sharks. But I really do. I love this deck, and what's different is that while most decks kind of have a little white book, she actually has this kind of map-like descriptor, and it's really easy to find your animal. It's alphabetical and it's color-coded. I don't think the color coding pertains to a certain animal species or anything. I think it's just there to help catch the eye. And what's really beautiful is that the descriptions are very brief. It takes up about half the page, but if you read it across, it's several keywords, and then, you know, kind of a phrase. And I just think it gives really good messages. This is another deck that I've been meaning to kind of reconnect with a little bit more as we go into 2020. And I'll definitely be using it as we go forward. Okay. So I am pulling one card as we go along, and we got octopus. So for the first deck, we got the 9 of Cups. So we got 9 of Cups and we got octopus. And the third deck my third most underrated deck is actually one that you probably wouldn't have heard of too much, but this is actually still available for sale. I can put the link. I got it off of eBay, and what's interesting is I also made this bag. What's interesting is this is a very vintage deck. This is from the 70s, and I had the great pleasure of purchasing this deck from the maker. The person who actually created this deck sells it on eBay, and what's lovely is that it's called the Nova Oracle cards. And again, these are 1970s cards. These were made, it's a custom Oracle deck, and the last time I checked today, and there's still about 5 available on eBay, and I will go ahead and I'll link I'll put the link in the description under the name and the author. But I had the great pleasure of speaking to the author. Sorry, I'm going to move my mic. Okay, sorry guys. I know that makes a booming sound. Okay, there you go. But what it is that it is a series of cards that have there's red cards and then there's black and white cards, and they are oracles, so they're not tarot, and they have numbers all the way up to 20. So what I think is lovely is, again, you have one that is kind of it's the same image. So like right here you have the computer, and you have one that is in black and white, and you have one that's in kind of a burgundy color. And what it is that it's very modern images. It's very modern images, but the black and white one is the positive manifestation of the message, and then the burgundy is the, kind of the shadow. And it comes with this wonderful little book, and like, for instance, the computer in black and white represents thought, intelligence, organization, efficient systems, and putting things in good order. Then if you look at the computer in burgundy, it alerts us that somebody is overanalyzing, systems may be oppressive or lack empathy. So you might be being robotic, right? You might be too analytical. And it's just really lovely the way that it has really modern, like the blank. The blank kind of means emptiness. The sun can mean resentment or just being too up in one's ego. I just love the fact that the descriptors are very easy to read, and it does have one card. What I think is so great, it has one card that doesn't have an opposite in red, and that's the gift. And I absolutely love the gift because the gift is great. It says it's the very last card, and it just says the gift is the card that is always good. It stands for the best that life has to offer, the real thing. It's yours. And I think it's so great because it has very modern images. It has things like space, superstar. I really think superstar is great too because I'm still kind of learning the meanings, but I love the fact that the book is just easy to grab and read. But for instance, the positive of the superstar is that you are at the top of destiny's cycle. Someone is at the center of attention, the winner. And then the red superstar reminds us that success does not necessarily satisfy. It can indicate someone proud and self-centered. So it's really great. Now, it has a few kind of different ones, like derelict can usually mean that you just need to take a break, like you need to check out. And, the wife in reverse can mean that you're kind of putting too much energy towards, can kind of mean coddling. But I think it's really great. It has images like friend, and there's one in here that's called the runner. And I think the runner is really great, It means, either getting ahead or rushing and trying to go too fast. And it even has things like shadow and the mountain. So it's an absolutely lovely deck. It's one of the few decks, I don't normally modify decks, but this is the one deck that I just trimmed, I cornered the edges just to make them round because it came straight, it came square. But I absolutely love the messages, and they really speak to me. They really speak to me. And for instance, like I'll read this, and this will be the last time, and then I'll go on to the next deck. The amusement park signifies fun and games, playtime. The red amusement park warns that games aren't fun anymore. Look for the exit. So I just think it's fantastic. It's a really wonderful deck. It really, again, I find it easy to learn, and it just really gives me a great message. I use it kind of more for myself. I think I've pulled it out for a few of my reads on my channel. But let's go ahead and see, what card can we pull? Okay, you see that? The friend. Let's go ahead and read the friend. And again, it's a little kind of folded booklet. The friend is a good ally or a companion. So I think that's so apt that I'm talking about what a good set this is, and it's like friend. Okay, but I'll definitely put the link. The last time I checked, there was about 5 of those decks available on eBay. It is being sold by the owner of the deck, the maker, the creator, and it's going for about $15 plus shipping. So I think it's a good deal, and it's a vintage deck and very quality cards too. They really they're good card stock. Now, the fourth deck in my top 5 is the Law of Attraction Little Reminder cards. And it's by Amy Zerner and Farber. Farber, you probably heard his name before. He does the astrology cards. But what I think is lovely about this deck is that these are actually more for kind of self-care. They're kind of meant to be the little mantra kind of cards that have a message about, it's almost like creative visualization. It's like a daily kind of mantra that you'd pull the card and just kind of repeat the mantra to yourself as your daily affirmation. And but what I think is great is that on the front of the card, it does have it has some really beautiful artwork. It's like multimedia artwork. It almost looks like somebody kind of did a collage using using newspaper or magazine art. These are all mystical looking images, but I love the fact that on the front it has the image and it has a keyword like faith, and then when you flip it over, I have faith that I can manifest the wealth and prosperity that I desire. Now, many of these cards do pertain to accumulating wealth. It's about like positive. It's like energy. I always say energy follows thought. So these cards are really kind of based about increasing your wealth through creative visualization. But I just feel like the keywords and the affirmations really help for just daily reads. Every day I practice my ability to reach my desired financial goals. So even though it has a little bit more of a fiscal spin, it has keywords like practice, gratitude, intuition, and motivation, grounding. I get the grounding card a lot. Usually that's when when my energy is real fragmented and I'm going a million directions. It's almost like either that or I've been inside too long. It's like the universe telling me I need to get outside, I need to sit in the grass. And I center and ground myself despite emotional upset around me. Sometimes you could pull that if you're having a rough day, either that or if you're going into a day where, it kind of might be testing you, just get grounded in yourself. And I love the cards like no doubt. It's almost like, I will eventually achieve success because I don't allow myself to doubt. It's almost like, okay, kind of push any doubt out of your mind. And then it does also have beautiful images like universe. The universe will show me the right path to take to reach my goal. And again, it doesn't even say anything about money in that one. But I love this one too because I just think the keywords and the phrases, sometimes it calls me out in a good way. Sometimes if I'm having in kind of a funky mood, I might pull something like attitude, like, okay, you just really, just chill out. And then cards like courage and respect, it just really helps me. It kind of adds that extra kind of emphasis to a read, and I find them most helpful for my daily pull of cards. I just feel like they're very comforting and encouraging. But oh yes, and let me not forget, what is our card to put on top? Okay, this one's kind of sticking out. Trust. I set my intention and trust in my abilities to improve my circumstances. See? Oh, guys, see, I love that. It's so positive. I'll go ahead and put the image right on top. All right, last but certainly not least, this one is one of my favorites. I did purchase this bag, but it fits my cards so perfectly. And then what I do is I have a little carnelian rose that I put on top. It looks really, it matches, which is a Libra thing. Sorry guys, be all aesthetic with stuff. But it's the Botanical Inspiration cards. And these cards have been out for a really long time. They are still available for sale on Amazon, I think, and they're actually not that expensive. The cardstock is really lovely, but what it is it's just a set of pictures of flowers, and the background is this really antique kind of tea-stained kind of background. And what I love is that it has a keyword, or it has the name, and then it has the name of the genus. It shows a really beautiful artwork, and then it'll have a keyword and a phrase, like a quote. So like with Rose, it'll say, hidden secrets. These things cannot be long hidden. The sun, the moon, and the truth. And all of the quotes are by famous authors. The artwork actually is vintage from like the turn of the century, but it has really lovely flowers. Like it has honeysuckle, and I never knew that they were called woodbine. And it's funny, there's a city nearby me that I'm nearby a city named Woodbine, and I never knew that meant honeysuckle. But this is probably the only deck that I have that has apple blossoms. And I just think that's gorgeous. Choices, knowledge, and illumination. And then the anemoine, if I'm always saying that right, anemoine, and white rose. It actually has different, I think it has yellow, white, and red rose. Oh, this is absolutely gorgeous. It actually has a sacred lotus, and the lighting is really not doing it justice, but it's the most beautiful gradient of like yellow, green, and purple into like blue that I've ever seen. Garden heliotrope, you can see this. Crocus, which I do have crocus in other decks, but nasturtium, pansy, primrose. But oh, here we go. Yeah, it does. It has a white, red, and yellow rose, and that's kind of nice, because when you look at rose, you know, when you see a yellow rose, it really does mean friendship, right? Here, let me go ahead and I'll find the white rose too. But it's lovely. It has all three of the different types of rose. So, you know, red is hidden secrets, yellow is enthusiasm and friendship, and then white is new start and wisdom. So I think that's lovely. And it's all different drawings. It's not the same one in just a different color. And I do think it's one of the rare decks that have lilac. Oh my gosh, it has a pink rose. Okay, I think that's the only other one. I don't think there's like a purple rose. And oh guys, what's lovely is that I actually have a picture of a bellflower. I took a picture of a bellflower, and it has the same flower in the deck. So and dahlia. I actually have a sweet friend from a long time ago named Dahlia. That's a rare name. But as you can see, I'm gushing. This is yet another deck that I really want to connect with more often. I do pull it out quite often. And of course, it has hydrangea, which if you've seen some of my other videos, hydrangea is one of the flowers that I saw at a time when I had last got a chance to talk to my dad. So it means a lot to me, and to see it. And actually, let's look, what's the message? Thankfulness for understanding. Before we can forgive one another, we have to understand one another. But yeah, so this is one of my favorite decks. I absolutely love the images. It just like the other decks, it kind of finishes off my readings. I use it a lot for myself, where just as I've pulled the other main themes, I'll pull this as a final card, and it just kind of adds that last little, hint of meaning for the overall spread. But I'm going to go ahead and pull a card, and this one is sticking out. We got White Rose, New Start and Wisdom. Knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. How beautiful. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to put our stone here. But yes, guys, so this is it. This is my top 5 most underrated decks. You don't see them in the mainstream. I've never seen, I've probably seen people use the Animal Allies, but I don't think I've ever really seen any other readers use any of the decks in constant rotations. So, but they are lovely cards, definitely worth investing in if you're looking for a card that just kind of adds an extra oomph, extra clarification to your reading and your cards, to your card reading and to your understanding. But yeah, so oh my gosh, guys, so that is day 29, and we have got 2 days left, counting it down. 48 hours until we are all done with the 31 days of tarot. So tomorrow's question is, what tarot cards do you feel best represent you? And oh gosh, guys, and this one specifically says tarot, so I will stick to tarot, but it's a very liberal blog sprint, so I probably will pull a few cards, but I so hope that you can join me then. And thank you for stopping by today, and I'll see you soon. Bye.